Welcome back to the last episode of Season 3. It's been a wonderful season with some amazing guests and really good deep topics. I'm going to do a little recap of what you may have missed and suggest that maybe you go back and listen to a couple if you've missed some. But first, I want to give you a little sneak peek at Season 4. I am a number 4 in numerology, which means I crave stability, I crave uniform, and safety and security. So I do want to dive into that a little bit as to what that means for me. Sometimes it means really thinking before I take a risk. Now, not always, because I did buy a house just off of a whim. I bought flooring and met some guy at Lowe's to come and lay it. And some of my rapid decisions have resulted in something wonderful, and some of my rapid decisions have been disastrous. But they've all been a learning experience for me. And that's what I really want to focus on grief with learning, because grief has been such an extraordinary teacher for me. Nobody likes grief. I've lost my child, my dad, my adopted son, my grandson. And some days cloaked with that grief. But I've put together tools that have helped me through the grieving process and enabled me to live my most empowered life, happy, joyous, and free. Season 4 is dedicated to talking about those lessons and sharing them with you. And of course, I'm going to have a class that you can take, but if you want to just listen and watch me on YouTube, I will even demonstrate some of these lessons. I'm super excited for Season 4. It's like the 4 points of bringing everything together and then rapid expansion after that. Let's recap. And no, I don't have this memorized, so I did take some notes just to let you know some highlights from many of the podcasts this season. Please share this podcast with a friend, subscribe, hit the bell so that you get notified when I have a new podcast. I do release podcasts every Wednesday, so be sure to tune in. That really does help me continue doing what I love. Episode 1 was about how grief is a journey we have to walk through. We can't skirt around it. We can't try and bury it because it will erupt. And from my own personal experience, I stayed so busy immediately after my son died, volunteering, working, going. And that was because sitting still was too painful. Eventually, I had to learn to sit still. So I talked about some of the things that I did to help me the grief journey, such as creativity, journaling, meditation, movement, and community. Now, let's talk about meditation, because I've heard so many people say, I'm just not a meditator. I can't do it. I was one of those people. I can't meditate. Who can do that? Who can sit still? So I started with some guided meditation, which I have been recording some of those for you, so stay tuned. Having someone talk you through relaxation breath work. Slowly, I learned more techniques. I've heard it said once, prayer is like petition to God, higher power, universe, whatever. But meditation is when you learn how to listen. Open your heart, receive. Every spiritual leader I follow incorporates meditation into a daily practice. That's how important it is for your recovery. I talk about meditation a lot because it's been a game changer for me. If you want to hear more, check out episode 1 in season 3. And episode 2, I did a deep dive into how to live a joyful, abundant life. I talked about the science of sunshine. Yes, there's actual science behind sunshine. When we are in a light-filled area, it does help our neuroplasticity, and it helps release the great chemicals in our brain that help us feel better and decrease depression. They even make light boxes for people that encounter a lot of darkness so that you can sit in front of this light box for a few minutes every day to increase dopamine, serotonin, all that. There is science backing that. The power of movement. There's plenty of research showing that movement, whether it be gentle movement, walking, dancing, any kind, increases endorphins and helps with grief, depression, anxiety. So get out and move. And then finally, I talked about the power of creativity. And there is so much evidence coming out supporting how a creative life is a happy life. Obviously, I love art. So I will be infusing some art into season 4, maybe even with a couple little demonstrations. Stay tuned. Episode 3, I talked about the neurological and emotional impact of grief. Somebody said to me one time after I lost my son, "You're going to lose 5 years of your life." 5 years of grief and sadness. I was not willing to lose that 5 years. I did everything I could. I studied courses, went to seminars, I read, I listened to podcasts, I took classes in art. I did it all. And that is what I'm infusing into season 4, a combination of everything I've learned to help me live the most abundant life possible. On episode 4, I had a special guest, Tracy Matthews, who started a jewelry company. What struck me about that episode is she was very vulnerable about losing her mother and having this dream that she would get married and have a family, and her life played out a little bit differently, but it was perfectly imperfect. She was married, divorced, then met the love of her life later in life, got married, and ended up with bonus kids. Her life is full and abundant. She has a multi-figure jewelry business and trains people to be the best versions of themselves. Episode 5, I had a special guest, Kate White, and we had actually 4 episodes because there was so much content. And if you've listened to them already, go back and re-listen. I did. So in the first of the 4, we discussed the impact of political and social trauma on individuals and communities. It doesn't matter what side you're on. There's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of emotional pain, and it does ripple out and affect so many people. Compassion, activism, trying to speak your voice, using creativity as a healing tool for yourself, pulling back from some of the political trauma that we're being exposed to every day in the media. It was really important that I divided up these segments into 4 different pieces with Kate because we covered so much. Even the fact that it is affecting the children, the young people that don't really understand what's happening, but they see people disappearing from their communities. They see families being torn apart. And it doesn't matter what you believe is right or wrong. It does impact everyone. We dived into navigating divided relationships. I'm sure that I cannot be alone on here and have people that I love on different ends of the political spectrum. And how do you navigate those relationships with love and kindness and tolerance? And I even had a little bit of a discord with some of my family members, but in the end, people look through lenses that they want to see through. My lens is a lens of compassion, integrity, honesty, and love. I do not put conditions on my love. The God of my understanding, I follow the Christian faith. Jesus was all about love. He loved the lepers, the outcasts. That's the lesson I get from that spiritual teaching. I want to look through the eyes of love, compassion, support, and I don't put conditions on what children we should be feeding or who should we be helping or who has the right to be here. It's really about love and tolerance. Sometimes you have to put that love towards somebody on the opposite side of the political spectrum because they may be looking at things differently. I did have the opportunity to reconnect after the series with Kate White with my friend Jo Davis, a powerhouse of a woman. She believes in autonomy and being a strong, soul-led woman that doesn't take any crap from anybody. And her purpose is to teach women to be authentic in their voice and speak with compassion, but speak with fortitude. We are powerful beings. So that is a really inspiring episode. I hope you take a chance to listen to that. And then the next mini series I had with Jen Day. And Jen and I really talked about women empowerment, the concept of sovereignty, exploring both feminine and masculine energies that we all possess. How do you balance those and make sure you embody both as a human being? We looked at healing from the inside out. In each episode of this 4-part series, we dived deeper to get to the essence of us as spiritual beings living a human experience. We're all part of the spirit. We're all energetic beings. Energy is everywhere. Please listen to those 4 episodes. You will not be disappointed. I had the opportunity to talk with Carolyn Linsky, who is an author of Radical Freedom, and she discusses her transformation and how she can use her experience to help people by healing with somatic therapy. You may want to tune into that episode if you are not familiar with somatic therapy. She provided a wonderful guided meditation. I could feel the energy traveling through my feet, up my legs, into my torso, and out my heart and arms. It was powerful. I've listened to it a few times. Tune into episode 14 with Carolyn Linsky, because if you don't know about somatic healing, it's basically when you have some type of trauma or depression or something that really affects you and you hold on to that in your body. We hold on to these energetic feelings. There's ways to release those. Tune into that. Last week on episode 15, I talked about the importance of rest for restoration. I get into cycles of rapidly spinning, working, and that had happened to me. By sharing on this podcast, I recognized I'm doing it again. This past week, I've been doing a self-reflection on what is it that I'm doing? Why am I on this rapid wheel again? And what can I cut out of my life? What can I ask help for? And these are important questions because I enjoy being home, making sourdough, creating artwork with my granddaughter. I enjoy talking to you on this podcast. So it's really important I make time for things that bring me joy and take time to rest and reflect. That's why next week we're going to have a bye. Take that time to listen to past episodes. I'm going to come back with season 4 and discuss lessons that I've learned through all the education, the practice, the implementation into my own life, and I'm going to guide you through that. I really appreciate every single one of you on this journey. The best is yet to come. Go out and catch some Soulshine today. You deserve it. Live the most happy, abundant, joyful, empowered life possible. See you in 2 weeks.